Hello and welcome to section 5.7, which is on inequalities in two triangles. Theorem 5.13 says that it's the hinge theorem, which is also called the SAS inequality theorem, the side-angle-side inequality theorem. If two sides of one triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle, like this one here, we have two sets of congruent sides, these two and then the other two. The included angles are not congruent, so the angle between them, this is 78, this is 125. Angle between them is not congruent. Then the longer third side is opposite the larger included angle. So my example says what inequality relates LN and OQ. So how does LN relate to OQ? You go back and use this theorem to figure this out. So you would say that LN is greater than OQ. Why? Because of the hinge theorem. The hinge theorem says that when you have two sets of congruent sides like this does, whichever side is opposite the bigger angle, that will be the longer side. So because this is 125 and this is 78, LN has to be bigger. Theorem 5.14 says the converse, it's the converse of the hinge theorem, so basically the opposite of this one. It's the SSS inequality theorem, side, side, side. If two sides of one triangle are congruent to two sides of another one, like in this example here, this is congruent to this, and this is congruent to this, and the third sides are not congruent, so this is 7 and this is 9, so I know they're not congruent, then the larger included angle is opposite the longer third side. Okay, so it's backwards. On this one they gave us the angle, and they wanted to know which side was longer. This one they give us the two sides, and we want to use the fact that because this is the longer side, this has to be the bigger angle to figure out what this angle could be. And this example is a little more detailed, but it's not that hard to solve. So it says, what is the range of possible values for x? So what could x be? This x right here. So I'm showing you that this is a 90-degree angle. So I know that 3x plus 18 has to be less than 90 because this is the longer side, making this the bigger angle. So it has to be less than 90. So that's the first part of it. So I can solve that, just how you would solve a regular inequality. So 3x is less than 72, and then divide by 3. So my x is less than 24, so that's the first part of my answer. The second part of my answer, can't have an angle that is 0. So my 3x plus 18 has to be greater than 0. So I need to solve that too. So minus 18, 3x is greater than negative 18. Divide by 3, divide by 3. Your x has to be greater than negative 6. And so the way that we're going to write our answer is a compound inequality, so the x has to go, the x has to go in the middle. Hang on a sec. So the x is in the middle, and so you read these to the inside out, and so x has to be less than 24, and x has to be greater than negative 6. So this is how you write your range of answers for that. So this angle right here in this corner has to be greater than negative 6 and less than 24. And so we're going to use that information to solve many other types of problems the next time I see you. Have a good night.